Welcome back to the channel. I'm JT from the Poco Moonshine family. If you're not familiar with this channel, today I am here with Diane from So Healthy. How you doing, Diane?
I'm doing great.
I love our meetups here when we come together and we talk about what's going on with your journey to be cancer free, right?
That's right.
I
Just like
like that mantra that Jeff has.
yes, just like Jeff.
hmm And if anybody isn't familiar with Diane's story, you have ovarian cancer,
Mhm.
correct?
Yep.
And how long have you had that, Diane?
Going 2 years now. This well, actually, it's over 2 years now. Coming up in June, it'll be 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, 3 years. Wow.
Do you remember what it was like when you when
Surprised
you
just now. I'm
when you
sorry.
got the news? Do you remember what it was like, how you were feeling when you got the news?
Um, yeah, I do. I felt numb. Basically, at the beginning, at the very beginning, um, it was just kind of numb, like shock, like I had no idea, how to feel, and the very first thing I thought of were my kids, and, at the time, so this is 3 years ago, my oldest was 10, youngest was 9, and, that's my very first thought of, and, then my second thought was, related because my grandmother died of cancer when she was about my age, and my dad was 16 when he lost her, and I thought I don't want that for my kids. How do I keep this from happening? And luckily, I got on I got it. It was almost. It was almost. It was really really small, and luckily we caught it when it was at a stage 2B, and it was treatable. And after going through the chemo for about 6 months, I was fine for a little while, and then the number started creeping back up again, and that's when my family encouraged me to go carnivore, and as well as being on medication from my doctor. And so we're having really, really good results with that. And my kids are going to live to see me get old.
That's awesome. And I ask you that question because you had sent me a video, and I want to bring it up here. Kate,
Hmm.
do you have her full name? Because I'm not big on the royals.
Yeah, yeah. Her name now is Catherine, Princess of Wales. And yeah, devastating news.
Yeah, I just wanted to. It's just a quick 2-minute video, and this reason I asked because I just wonder how she was feeling when she got her diagnosis. But this is something we
Probably very similar to what I was feeling.
absolutely, and so we're gonna watch this quick, and then we'll cut back in here.
Yeah.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal, in my mind, body, and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support, and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space, and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
You know, I love that. And she's staying positive. What, if you could give her a message, what message would you give her, just person to person?
Well, person to person, it's really hard to say. I don't know if I would give any advice because at the time when things are new, like she's only been on this journey for, how long has it been? I think about a month, maybe even not that. And it's things are probably very scary, and she's thinking about those kids, and she's probably getting advice left and right. And so I think really at this time I would just ask her if she wants to know anything about what I've been going through, and I want to know how she's doing internally, like mentally, because there's so many questions swimming around in a person's head whenever they get that diagnosis. And whenever you are met with somebody who's been down that road and come out on the other end, and things are looking good, you want to know as much about what's going on with them as possible. So I would just basically I would just be an ear, and just if she had any questions or if she wanted to talk about anything, I would just be there. And if she wanted to know what I was doing to make myself better, I would let her know everything.
Absolutely. You know, and I'm also wondering too, I've never had cancer, so I'm not, I haven't gone through this. What do you tell a child? What do you tell kids?
Oh gosh, that was the hardest. I was just talking with my parents about that actually, about how it was the absolute hardest thing to talk about with the kids, because you don't want to scare them, because that's the biggest fear of a child, is to lose their parents. And because that's their security, that's their life. And I remember learning about that in college, learning stages of development, because I have a degree in education. And that was one of the things about that age group. That's they were still at that age of, my parents are my world, and what happens if I lose them? Whatever happens if mom dies? So I didn't want to scare them. I just told them that I was sick, and I was going to have to get some treatment done that would make me sicker. And I told them not to be scared. People go through with it all the time. I'm very, very sick, but I'm not dying. I wanted to let them know that, because I wasn't. The prognosis was good. So, at least there was that. If the prognosis was not so good, if it turned out I was a stage 3 or 4 cancer, then it would have been a harder talk. But we would have brought spirituality into it and everything. We would have brought our faith in God and heaven, and I would have told them that no matter what, I would be fine. Whether I'm here or passed on, and for them not to be scared. But that's really hard to tell a little kid. And but now they know that I still have the cancer, but it's not killing me. It's living inside of me, and it's very, very small. And I am keeping it small with my medicine and with my diet, and that's what's keeping me here.
Did you start your chemo treatment before you were on carnivore?
Yeah, that was the very first thing that happened, because I didn't really know anything about the carnivore diet. And so I had been on a full regimen of chemotherapy for about 6 months, maybe even 7, because they had to postpone me because I was getting a little too weak. And so I had to be off of it for like a month, I believe. And then they tested my blood work again, and my white blood cell count was better. So they were like, okay, we can safely put you back on it. And so that delayed being the end of the treatment, that just delayed it for about a month. And then after that, so that was January of 2021. And then, no, that was 2022. Was at the end. And then about a year later, actually, is whenever I started noticing the numbers climbing again. So,
Do you notice a difference in how the chemo affects your body and how you feel doing chemo? Because that's why I asked that question, to see if you know what it felt like to do chemo before being on carnivore, and is there any difference at all?
now, yes. Now, there's all sorts of chemotherapy drugs, and they can be tailored to what the patient is going through, how advanced the cancer is, and what kind of cancer it is. So the chemotherapy that I got was not the same as the chemotherapy that my dad got, and also what my mother-in-law had. She had cancer everywhere. So the first time that I was on that 6-month regimen, I had the first few days were the hardest, and a lot of times I would have to take off of work because it would be just sick, just feeling bad. I wouldn't even know how to describe it. I was just feeling bad, and it wasn't so much nausea or anything like that. I was just overall sense of feeling sick, and then after a while my energy would pick back up. Usually it would take a week after my infusion, and then I'd be better. And then whenever my numbers started picking back up, this is after I've already been through chemo, and the numbers were looking better. It was actually back to 0. And then whenever it was discovered the numbers were climbing back up, the doctor that I had to be with was decided I should go back on chemo. And at first I was like, yeah, okay, I was fine, because it really wasn't terrible. I mean, it was terrible, but it wasn't the kind of terrible that I couldn't live with. I could live with it. But whenever she gave me this dose of whatever it was I was taking, it was different medication from the first time. And I was taking it I was taking 3 different drugs on one day. And then a week after that, I was given one of those drugs again. And that's how the regimen was going to be. It was 3 one week, 1 another, and then another 3 weeks, and then I was going to start over again. And I felt like I was going to die after that one infusion. And I even had a nightmare about dying. I had my face broke out like I was a teenager again, and it was incredibly embarrassing because it happened right when my parents were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, and we were having a big party for them. And so I was seeing relatives I haven't seen in a long time. It was just very embarrassing, and on top of that, I had no energy, and I felt like death. And my depression, holy cow, it was just nuts. And that's when I told her I wanted to get the biopsy done, and I wanted to, see, what these things were, because she had talked about a biopsy. I was like, okay, let's do a biopsy, and biopsy came back negative. And then we did another biopsy. The other one came back negative. And we talked about this, and if anybody wants to go down that rabbit hole, there was a discussion with JT and I, so I don't have to go through the whole story again. But yeah. Long story short, I have a new doctor, and actually, exasperatingly, you won't believe this, their practice just closed. And
Really?
now I'm left with having to find a new doctor. But luckily, I found the doctor that the last practice that I was with that closed, I found her. She's gone into San Antonio. She's in a place in San Antonio, and that's not a far drive. It's a far drive. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I live. But I will travel that distance to be with that doctor because I trust her, because she was the one that suggested the medication that I'm currently on. And so I'll be able to tell her how well it's working.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
just want to say shout out a couple people watching here. R&R, Charger Mopar Rick, Nancy, Andy, bunch of you guys in here. Guilty of Crime Jay, how you doing? Carnivore Brothers, how you doing? Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Prayers to Diane. Yep.
Oh, thank you very much.
G-Man. Yeah, hit that like button. And shout out to News and Info Joe. There you go. We got
look at that.
we got them watching, and I like to bring up the kids. I've got a family channel. That's why I was asking you, like, what would you say to kids? And I think you did a great job on that. And would you suggest going back to Catherine? Is her name Kate?
Catherine, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Going back to her just for a minute, would you suggest her try the carnivore diet as far as maybe helping her feel a little bit better during her chemo and stuff?
Well, and the thing is, it's a well-known fact that cancer feeds off of sugar, and carbohydrates convert into sugar in the body. And so it's just like, well, what do you have to lose? To have this, like Carrie says, try it out, call it an elimination diet. If you're not comfortable calling it carnivore, and try it out. I I mean, I hope she does it. I hope she and the king do that because they're in it together, and it's just like me and my dad. It's our situations are so dang similar. I don't know if it's ovarian that she's going through right now. I she's keeping that a secret, which is her prerogative. But cancer is cancer, like Dr. Seafree said, and I hope that they do discover that. I hope that she and the king both go carnivore. Um, I I don't know what they're going to do, but hopefully they'll. They're smart people. I'm sure they're doing their research, and I just hope that this fact comes across, their desktops, and hopefully it's something that they will give a try because they need to be
Absolutely.
around.
Yep, and you're on the carnivore diet, so you would know better than anybody how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share this. This is the comprehensive cancer action plan. I have a link to this website here. It's in my description of my video here if you guys are watching. And if you could hit that, sign the petition. We're trying to get 1 million signatures for cancer options for people who have cancer. And it's kind of scary, and you feel backed against the wall, and you got this person saying this and this person saying that. It's nice to have someone like you and Jeff who's been in that situation and can say, hey, listen, you know obviously listen to the doctors, but you should be eating the proper diet too as well. Don't you think that that goes hand in hand with the recovery, right?
It really does, and it's like I'm kind of likening cancer to diabetes a bit because of how much sugar and carbohydrates play a role in it, and it's just like at the clinic that is recently had to close, that I was a part of. They set out treats for people that were coming there. They've got crackers and stuff in the back for people going through infusion if they're hungry, and out in the front, the lady at the desk, she had like little Reese's cups and stuff, and I had to make the remark, you know, cancer feeds off of sugar. This is not a good thing to have at a cancer clinic. And that kind of took the woman behind the desk by surprise. But I'm glad that I said something. There wasn't any more sugar after I mentioned that. And whenever I've gone back, the last 2 times that I've been back, there wasn't any candy at the
That's
front.
awesome. And it's the smallest thing sometimes that can make a big impact. And who knows, maybe they weren't coming at it from that level of awareness that you have. You see things in a whole different way. You see things way more raw than they do.
Mm-hmm.
And to them, they didn't have that lens, and you gave it to them. And I think she's like, wow, like, so that's amazing. Do you mind if I play this video quick, and then we'll get into some of your lab results?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm fighting stage 4 cancer. When doctors told me I was inoperable, incurable, and only had months to live, my world shattered. They pushed conventional treatment as the only path until I found metabolic therapy and created my own regimen. Learning about Professor Seafried's groundbreaking work changed everything. I learned you have to question everything. Imagine my hopelessness when after chemo, they handed out cookies, knowing full well cancer thrives on sugar. It was as if I was drowning and my trusted rescuers tossed me an anchor. Cancer doesn't have to mean hopelessness. Discovering metabolic therapy as an additional tool in my regimen revealed the power of a natural, proper human diet. It gave me strength. Chemo became more bearable. I've outlived my prognosis. My quality of life has drastically improved, and many others thriving on metabolic therapy also. Our goal is humanity. Our goal is to ensure every cancer patient is presented all the options and all the tools. This declaration is the first step. Too often, only the profitable treatments are offered. My story and the story of many others thriving on metabolic therapy are more than anecdotes. They are proof of what's possible. If you believe in a full spectrum of options for cancer treatment, not just the profitable ones, then stand with me. Sign the declaration, raise your voice, and demand that humanity returns to cancer care. Together, we can bring hope, choice, and life to everyone in this battle. The link to our declaration is below, along with our cancer action plan, including metabolic therapy resources, videos, regimens, and more. If you know anyone touched by cancer, please share this and help us reach 1 million signatures so our voices can be heard.
Absolutely love it. So
I
I would
he's
ask,
so dynamic. I don't know if that comes naturally to him or that.
but I would ask, on behalf of Jeff and Diane, if people could go to the link in the description of my video here and sign the petition and check out the cancer action plan. If you know anybody in your family, if you have any friends, family, coworkers, whatever, that's been diagnosed with cancer, send them the cancer action plan and help empower them with hope in a time where they might not feel a lot of hope.
Exactly. Yeah. It's something that I wish had been around 3 years ago whenever I first got my diagnosis. And I'm sure that there's other people out there that are looking for something, anything other than what they're given at the
Well,
clinic.
you and Jeff and people like you who are going through cancer and trying things like carnivore to add into your arsenal of weapons, you guys are torchbearers and you're leading the way. And I'm proud of you. So keep doing what you're doing. Now, let's talk about let's expose your lab results here.
Yes.
What
So
were they? Do you remember last time you weren't so thrilled with your results?
no, yeah, and I think I have a reason for it. So let's see. The last time, the most recent lab result is from March 21st, not long ago. The time before that is whenever things were looking scary. Well, not scary, but concerning. It was February 16th. And that result came back at 1.26. And prior to that, everything had been in the decimal points. It had been below 1. And this was 1.26. And the time before that, it was 0.32. So there was a significant uptick. And I was thinking, what happened? I know I didn't miss any medications because I have my alarm set twice a day to remind me. And my husband has it set on his phone because sometimes I turn off the alarm and then I get distracted with something else. And then he'll have to ask me, did you take it? And so I hadn't forgotten any dosages. The only thing that I could think of, and actually this is something that, so I decided that, okay, well, maybe I should cut down dairy. I should cut down on the cheese and the cream cheese, and because I had been making I was getting experimental with gelatin and making gelatin desserts with erythritol, so it would be sugar-free, and putting in some cream and sometimes some cream cheese as a, you know, real 50s kind of dessert. And so I was doing a lot of that for like family gatherings. We were doing a lot of family gatherings at the time, and I was eating a lot of cheese, a lot of it, and and I mentioned that in my video that I did about my numbers, and in the comments, I had a couple of ladies comment that yeah, I think you need to cut out the dairy because there's it's, you know, it's not so good for people with ovarian cancer because there's some sort of a growth hormone in dairy that might, you know, be provoking this. And so I thought, oh, that makes sense. So I cut out the cream in my coffee. I cut out the cream cheese and the gelatin dessert. I cut out cheese, basically cut out cheese, period. And the only dairy that I was consuming was butter, and not a lot of it. So 1 month later, basically, it was March 21st, whenever I got my most recent labs done. It is down to 0.1.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So there it is. I think that's what it was. I think it was the dairy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've had to cut out dairy a lot, and that's not to say that people that are carnivore should stay away from dairy. I think it's allowed, definitely, especially butter. But I think people with my situation with ovarian cancer, it's probably something that we need to take in, you know, smaller amounts, much smaller amounts.
Interesting. I never would have thought that dairy could have been the culprit. That's
I didn't either, and I was, because I was perfectly fine with having dairy, but excuse me, I think that was the culprit, because that's the only difference between then and now, and I mean, it's a significant result.
absolutely that is. Now, if anybody's skeptical, like that might hear, you know, about your being on the carnivore diet with cancer, how has it helped you just in general? How do you feel like it's helped you, the diet?
I'm completely new. I'm completely new. It's going to be a year. Yeah, it is actually probably. Holy moly! Yeah, in 9 days, it will be a year since we got my result of the Signatera, the 4.75 result of the Signatera. That was showing that they wanted me to be on chemo. So it's a year, and I'm completely different. The numbers are significantly different. My weight has dramatically dropped. I've dropped 55 pounds. I'm feeling better. I'm stronger. It's just night and day difference. The carnivore diet, without it, I don't know. I'm not about to be. I'm not about to make myself a guinea pig and see. Oh, how would I be if I just had the SAD diet for the next month, and how would my numbers be? I'm not about to make that kind of a scientific test on myself to see if this is real or not, because the numbers are too good. I'm feeling too good. I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago. It's I'm not willing to sacrifice my health just to, you know, have tacos and nachos and milkshakes and, all that bad stuff.
Yeah,
Shoot,
some things aren't worth it, right?
would be not so good.
Right. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know you're feeling good, and why would you want to turn away from that? And if
Yeah.
there's anybody who's watching that does have cancer or they were diagnosed with cancer, could you walk us through a typical day of some carnivore meals for you? Like what are you eating that they could maybe eat?
Well, for breakfast, if I have breakfast, I like today, I haven't eaten yet. But on a day that I have breakfast, I love eggs and bacon. And um, the extra grease that is made from the bacon, I will pour into a little Pyrex thing, and I'll either use it as you know uh, something else to cook in later, or um, a lot of times I don't know if this is considered spoiling the dog. I think Emma might be proud of me, but so we give them their kibble, and then we pour once the bacon grease is cooled down, we pour it over all the dogs get bacon grease with their kibble.
Ooh.
And um, let's see, lunch. It's if I haven't had breakfast, then I'll have eggs for lunch. But if there is a lunch, I'll do something light, like I'll have a couple slices of salami or steakums. Sometimes I don't know if you know steakums, JT. But
I've never had steakums, no.
oh man. Okay, so they're very thin I don't even think they're slices, but it's kind of like roast beef. I don't know. Help me out. Anybody that's watching, how would you describe steakums? Because I looked on the back, made sure on the back of the box. Some people call it trash meat. I don't call it trash meat. I love steakums, and so do my kids. And there's no carbohydrates in it. There's no added sugar or anything. But they come frozen. You go find them in the frozen section, and I just throw a couple of them on the skillet, and they're actually really good with eggs, fried eggs, scrambled eggs, however you like them. And okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that next time. I'm gonna get some scrambled eggs and wrap them up in the steakums and see how that is. Kind of like a burrito. I'm gonna try that.
You're making me hungry.
And for dinners, uh, uh, tonight we're having sausages, but you got to be careful with sausages because there can be added sugar in there. So sometimes sausages, sometimes we'll have just hamburger patties with mustard, and sometimes, a lot of times, like last night, steak, sirloin, and we'll get a nice, really big one, and then we'll split it between the two of us, and have a lot of melted butter on top with salt. That's my favorite way of having it. And let's see. Every now and then we'll do chicken wings, and we put them in the air fryer. I have not yet tried what you told me. What did you call it? It was
The heart attack chicken?
heart attack chicken. Yes, I haven't tried that yet.
Rick's famous recipe.
Yeah, I need to go buy some more lard. I have some lard, but not enough to submerge some chicken wings in. But I really want to try that out.
That's awesome. See, so and if I'm just focused tonight on anybody who comes across this that does have cancer, and helping them as much as I can with this video.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prioritize your self-care, caring for yourself and managing your stress levels and challenges in life, with having cancer? Like, how do you manage all that?
Well, It's sometimes a little hard because, like you said, stress management is a thing whenever you have cancer, and sometimes I get a little overambitious, and I want to do things like, oh, I was going to, make a YouTube video. I have been putting that on the back burner a lot, and because sometimes during the week I will just be like, I don't feel like cleaning the craft room and figuring out vantage points to where am I putting the camera this time, and uh, I just don't feel like putting myself through this right now. All I want to do is sew, and it'll make me happy if all I'm doing is just sewing and not in front of a camera. And so I've been doing that a lot, and so that's why I haven't been doing as many sewing. I've got one sewing video up, and I'm hoping to have more out, but it'll come whenever I'm feeling up to it. Because my numbers are low. I don't have a big group of followers that are demanding content, luckily.
Not yet, not yet.
So I'm at a point where if I want to put out a video, I will, and it'll be because I have a message that I want to talk about, or there's a dress that I want to show how to make, and that actually is coming. And plus, I've been wanting to do a lot of things. Like very recently, I had a coworker come over to the house, and I was teaching her how to sew, and we made bolero for her, and I taught her how to make something, and it was just a fun time. And then and this is sad. A friend of mine, well, she's a family friend. She and my sister were best friends whenever they were young, in middle school and high school, and her mom is very good friends with my mom, and so it's more of a family friend that this lady is. And we've known each other for a long time, and got the news last week, 2 weeks ago, that her son was in a car crash, a fatal car crash. And so we were putting a lot of things on hold before we found out what arrangements were for the family, because we were going to be there for them. She was coming in from Germany because her husband's Air Force, and they were moving into Alabama. Her son was already in Alabama because he was in college. He was 18. He was going into a military college in Alabama, and his dad had just been stationed TDY in a place in Alabama. So she was on the route to go there, and so that whole thing, we wanted to be there for them, and then my dad got sick, and we weren't able to go to they're not really having a funeral. They're having kind of what they're calling it, like a life celebration. So I think the thought of a funeral, having him in a I don't think that they were mentally prepared to do anything like that. Which I can imagine.
Yeah, as tough as it is, life should be a celebration every day, including that last day. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just going back to anybody who's watching this who might have ovarian cancer, were there any obstacles that you faced when you transitioned to the carnivore diet with that health condition?
Transitioning to carnivore, no. except for cravings. But I think that's anybody transitioning into carnivore. There's always going to be cravings at the beginning, especially for sugar, if you have a sweet tooth. But you know, and sodas if you're addicted to sodas, because that's a thing. But sparkling water is great, and that helps. If you are having stumbling blocks like I think, well, my dad is long past this, but there was just always this time of day. I was like after dinner, he would want some cookies, and just like a couple of Sandies. Sandies, those little pecan flavor
Mm-hmm.
cookies. So, and he would have a couple of those with coffee after dinner, and that would just be his thing. And I remember I was kind of the same way. I liked having a little something sweet, nothing big, but a little something sweet after dinner. And so if you are like that, if you need that little something sweet, um, there are sugar-free cookies out there. They're not carb-free though. So there are recipes out there, and I tried one that spritz cookies. You
I
know
don't.
the
I'm not
like
sure
those
about
little,
spritz.
but they're like little Danish butter cookies. Like you see them they come in these big tins at the supermarket, and
Okay.
grandmothers use them to
Put their
put,
little sewing needles in and stuff.
you know it. So just like that. But so I found a keto version of that. It's not carnivore, it's keto, but it is something that if you have to have something that's transitional between, because there are some people that just can't fully dive into carnivore. Um, there is a keto spritz cookie recipes. They're here on YouTube. You can find them. Just look for keto spritz cookies, and there's a couple of videos that you can follow that use almond flour instead of regular flour, that use erythritol instead of sugar. But the butter is still there. You're still going to get that butter taste in the cookie. So
Get your spritz on.
get your spritz on. There's let's see, any other hurdles? No, not really. That was the main hurdle for me was Cokes and sweets sometimes. And so that's what I would do is I would buy the sparkling waters, and the little sugar-free, I would look for sugar-free keto desserts. They're out there, you just kind of have to find them. And excuse me, but and make sure that it's something that you're okay with having. If you're like me, a cancer patient, you're a little too scared to have anything with carbs. So that fear is what helped me through that. And so it was easier to transition for me because I was just afraid to have any kind of carbs. So
Makes sense.
yeah.
What are you doing for exercise with having cancer? What's helping you? What's the secret sauce?
Well, I unfortunately have a very sedentary work schedule because I work in an office and I have to sit in front of monitors for 12 hours. And that's 3 days a week. So what I do is there is this I don't even know what you call them. It's one of those things that you have sitting on the floor, and
Mhm.
it's like you have a little bicycle at your feet, and you just do this with your feet.
Oh, like okay, I think I saw Bill Knott with one of those.
He has something similar. His is more of an elliptical kind of a situation, where mine's more of like a bicycle, and
Interesting.
mine's not near as nice as his. His is really nice. But so I do that, and you know what? Yard work is harder than it looks. So I take that as exercise. So like today, we were planting outside, and whenever I'm frustrated, I like to do some sort of manual labor. Whenever I'm frustrated or angry or anything like that. The day that Princess Catherine got her diagnosis, I was angry. And whenever I heard that news, and so I got my mom on speaker, because I was so angry about it, and I took her outside with me, and I started weeding. I started pulling up weeds, and I was just so angry, and I'm pulling up weeds, and that was good exercise. And so the past couple of days, actually the past few days, we've been doing a lot of cleanup around the yard, because we got a lot of dead branches that we had to trim off, and we had my gladiolus, my beds of gladiolus, they had tons of weeds growing over them, and they're starting to come up, and so I need to give them room. Had a weed, and then we bought some new edging to go around the bed, so we're putting that in. We bought a bunch of new flowers that we're planting today, and so that's what I spent my day doing. I've even got dirt still on my arm right from being outside planting.
Yeah.
So yard work, going for walks. Walks are the best, especially if you live in kind of a hilly area. And so taking the dogs out for a walk, that's great. Bringing the kids along, they like that. And so, yeah, basically manual labor and evening walks.
Fresh air, lots of the fresh air I'm hearing, and
Mhm.
it's cool too. So there's no weeds in the garden. You said you're gardening, right? Or is it just for
Yeah,
flowers?
yeah, it's a
And
flower garden. We don't do vegetables anymore. We have some fruit trees, but I'm not about to kill those off, because the birds need them. And um, we've got 2 apple trees, and a pomegranate tree, a grapefruit tree, a lime tree, and an orange tree.
wow,
And they're all still babies. They're not really making fruit yet, but we're still keeping them around for atmosphere, and um, to let the birds have something to rest on, and eventually giving away fruit to neighbors.
that's awesome. And those are all great tips for anybody who's dealing with cancer. I there's nothing I could tell you. You got to go to someone like Diane, someone like Jeff, who's in the trenches, and they know what works, what doesn't work. And I appreciate you taking your time to go through that with whoever this video could help, Diane. And I've got your channel up. So healthy. I love that. It's a mix between her sewing, her passion for sewing, and you got the dress behind you, and also passion now for being so healthy with your carnivore diet.
Hmm. Yeah, just a little mix of the two. That's what's important to me. That's the most important thing I want to talk about. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah. And
Now,
thank you so much for chatting with me, and
oh,
getting my story out there.
absolutely no problem. I love catching up with you, and getting the lowdown and seeing how you're doing. I get a big inspiration from your story.
Oh,
Now,
thanks.
I want to end this with looking ahead, looking forward. It's okay to look in the past. Remember where we came from, and remember and tell our stories. But let's look ahead. Let's look to the future. What are some goals or aspirations you've got for your health and your lifestyle? And does carnivore diet fit into any of those goals that you have?
It 100% revolves. my goals and aspirations won't be able to take place without the carnivore diet. Because that's what my health has been progressing with. It just is. I attribute my health, my good health, to being carnivore now. The goals and aspirations that I have, my most current ones are to continue teaching sewing to my sister and my coworker. I have been having fun doing that and getting them excited about sewing, and that's something that I wanted to do too. Is I wanted to. I don't know when I'm going to get this out, but there's a 3 video series that I want to put out about starting your first sewing project. And I'm going to pick, I already have the perfect project picked out that I want to show to everybody to get them not afraid to use a sewing machine if that's something that they're interested in. And so there's that. And my biggest goals are to be 100% cancer free. I want to see that number drop to absolute 0. Right now it's 0.1. It's close.
Oh, so close.
It's close. So I want to see that number get to absolute 0. And I want to also get stronger. I would like to be stronger. I was kind of noticing I was needing to take not as many breaks as I had to before whenever I was gardening, but every now and then I had to go back to the patio, take a water break, and sit down. And but the breaks weren't near as long as they had to be in the past. In the past, I would have to take 20 minutes, maybe an hour of a break before I would go back and do more yard work. I took a couple minutes. I sat down for 2 minutes, drank a little water, went right back out, and I was perfectly fine. Just had the music going, had Frank Sinatra, listening to that while I'm out there gardening. And so it was nice. And so to get stronger, to be able to have, fewer breaks, and to get stronger.
Love it. Get those designs, get the fabric picked out, and start sewing, start having fun. And that's what life's about, just finding what you're passionate about and just pursuing it with everything you got. That way, when you lay down at night, you're like, man, am I tired? Because I was out kicking ass and having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're doing. And I enjoy sharing this time with you so you could help hype me up, because that's what your story does. It really does hype me up, Diane.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, this has been an awesome interview. I thank everybody for watching this live and everybody watching the replay. I appreciate you guys. Smash that thumbs up for Diane's story. Help this get out there to more people who are diagnosed with cancer and are suffering with it, or someone who knows somebody. This cancer affects a lot of people, whether you have it or someone who has it. So please help Diane get her story out there so she can help someone change their story too. So thank you, Diane, for taking time out tonight. I had a blast. And
JT,
you gonna come on in the future?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime.
Awesome. And we're going to expose some more lab results, and I'm sure they're going to be good.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually seeing my newest doctor on the 12th. So
on the 12th? Okay, cool. That's coming up very fast.
Yeah.
Well, next time you get some more results, let's go through them and keep this going. And then we're going to see you through to the end when you get cancer free and you're just sewing then.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to have a party of some sort.
Absolutely.
Need a party.
Absolutely. Carnivores love parties. And speaking of parties, April 13th, in my hometown here, Thiensville, Wisconsin, at the local park. We're renting out the park. We're doing a Healing Humanity meetup, and
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
bring your own meat, bring your own grill party. And we're going to take photos with the banner. We're going to record people telling their stories. We're going to eat some meat together. People can bring their fishing poles. Kids are free. Adults it's only $25 for a ticket, but that $25 goes towards the Healing Humanity movie, so we can get that out and we can really make a big, huge splash out there and make so many changes, good changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for that movie to get out. I'm excited.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
that
So,
party sounds like a great idea. I wish I could go. I've got the doctor's appointment. Otherwise, I'd be talking to my husband. What can we do to get to Wisconsin on the
well,
13th?
we're going to have some more, so don't worry. But I just wanted to put that out there. There are opportunities this year to come out and meet fellow carnivores, and just it's nice to hang around like-minded people and have fun with those people. And like I said, kids are free, so bring the family out. Let's go. Let's have fun. Let's raise some money for Healing Humanity, and let's change the world. And Diane, thank you for coming on here tonight. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime. I can't wait for the next one.
All right. Me too. I cannot wait. You guys, that is it for this. The link for the carnivore meetup and the cancer action plan will be both in the description. I love you guys. Thank you for coming. But that is it.